Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost, and this video is about the narcissist projections, right? So, one thing I'm talking about is in the spiritually, the narcissist is an entity. That's why they work the same way. They're being run by a consciousness, and they have a very high intuition of what will get to you. That is why, although they act in the exact same ways, like it's very predictable their behaviors, they go through the exact same stages, they show up differently to different people. In fact, the way they abuse different people is often different. Here's what they do in the energetic realm: they project an illusion, often of the thing you think is missing in their life. When you buy into that illusion, you add energy to it, right? So you're fueling it too. And then what happens is that illusion comes crashing down, and it's very hard to reconcile what they're doing with who you thought they were or what role you thought they should play. They project everything. They are literally a magician of illusion. So you'll know this because everything they are, they'll project on you. A lot of people in narcissistic relationships start thinking maybe they're the narcissist. All their dysfunction, they'll project on you. If they're cheating, more than likely, they'll suggest that you are. They will try and confuse your mind to such a large degree that you'll question yourself. You might feel like the crazy one. That's what they project on you. They live off this illusion, this projection, right? And until we absolutely discern it and do not buy into it, we get caught up in it. But it's all a lie. They live on projections. Now, someone said about they like me calling them entities. They are entities, right? They're dehumanizing you. When someone doesn't validate your emotions, have any empathy for how you feel, in fact, enjoys your pain and suffering, it's unhuman, right? So humans, what really separates humans is our emotional capacity. These entities are completely devoid of empathy. No emotional response. In fact, many of you have probably seen the kind of crocodile tears that they put on, like the fake crying, the fake emotions, right? And because we want to love them and be loved by them or whatever we think they are, we kind of want to buy into it. But you've seen it, right? It's a complete projection. They are emotionally devoid. So because they're dehuman, they try and dehumanize you. They'll treat you like an object. They will treat you in ways that hurt your emotional body, your emotional being, right? Which causes us a lot of trauma. So they project everything they are onto you. They're an illusion. They're trying to project the illusion. They're completely devoid of empathy and true emotional response. And anything they are, often they're going to try and put on you. Plus, they're going to try and dehumanize you. To be treated like a human being is to be respected, is to be valued in your opinions, is to be cared for in your wants and needs, right? With a narcissist, you're going to have to fit into them, right? What you want and need is irrelevant. And the more they can antagonize you, the better. So, yeah, they dehumanize you because they're dehuman. They're trying to project that onto you. But the thing is, an actual human being, a healthy human being, can't deal with that. We can't deal with being dehumanized. I think I spoke in one of the videos and said, like, because I work with veterans, right? I studied PTSD and I sat with veterans talking about trauma, and I've done a lot of study on trauma. I had to heal myself, and I help people heal from trauma in sessions. But, you know, a lot of veterans will talk about physical torture and abuse when they go to war, but the mental abuse, we've heard about Stockholm syndrome and like the strange responses a person has to an abuser, because it creates a chemical addiction, right? It creates different chemicals in our body. So, for example, if someone throws you in a hole in a war camp, but they're the same person that then feeds you, you get a high, you get a dopamine hit, right? So it's very confusing emotionally. And when you confuse, it's like a computer system that's gone completely bizarre when you confuse someone's emotional body, their mental thinking, their ability to process stuff, right? So we get addicted to our abusers. We get addicted to wanting the person who's caused the pain to take it away. That is an addiction. It's not healthy love. It's a symptom of chemicals being released in your body. So the reason we're wired like that scientifically, this is probably a bit intellectual, but scientifically is because as children, like we're born to survive, right? And so when we've linked our survival to someone, we're gonna kind of attach positive emotions to what links into our survival instincts. And so what a narcissist will do is put you in a trauma response, a fight and flight response, a very highly traumatized response, right? And you're going to then, these chemicals get released in your body where you are going to then kind of attach to them. So it's not your fault in any way. It's actually a physical response, right? To survive as children, our caregivers, right, who feed us and look after us and all that kind of stuff, we need to be loved by them. We need to be liked by them. So we have, you know, ways of attaching to people who we think are our caregivers, but this goes chemically in our body, right? So we attach to abusers. That's why we go through these highs and lows. That's why when, like, you know, you go through a bad cycle with a narcissist, and then it seems like you're on cloud nine when things seem to be good again. But the whole thing is an illusion, it's a projection, it's playing on your chemical body, it's playing on your emotional body, it's playing on your spiritual body. And you have to understand, this is a dark entity and I get to cast it out. I think at the moment it's about casting out the demons. You know, you can't save these people, you can't redeem these people. You've got to let karma have its way. But while we plug into them, karma doesn't come their way because they're feeding off our life force energy. They have to be left to their own process, left to their own spiritual awakening, and we have to get on with our lives, but understand that everything is a projection. So if you are spending any time wondering if you're the narcissist, if you have lashed out in reactive abuse, if you're wondering why you feel such a strong pull to this person that you know is treating you badly, they are messing with your chemicals. It's like taking drugs, right? It's an addiction. Just understand what's going on. Understand it, see it for what it is. Don't be confused about it anymore. No consent in your energy field. Break the psychic ties. You can literally push away the psychic energy and say it's not yours. They project illusions on us and emotions on us, right? When we feel connected to people, it's a different feeling to when you're with a narcissist, where you know it's fake, but you've got like a pull. It's like an addictive pull. It's like a hit, right? That's an addiction. That's not a true connection. When you feel truly connected to someone authentic, you feel safe, you feel loved, you feel there's a peaceful feeling to it. It's not such a dramatic high and low, right? So healthy connections can feel, you can be elated in love with someone, but it's not an insecurity underlying it. It's not the next hit, what's going to happen next type of feeling. And when they show emotion, you can feel their vulnerability and you can feel safe to share yours. You're never on safe ground with a narcissist, because anything you show in your vulnerability, ultimately they're probably going to use against you. And the sad thing about that is it makes us not want to be true with other people, because we want to get defensive and want to protect ourselves, but actually it's very safe and very right to share with healthy people. Like, it's the way we connect, it's the way we share our truth, it's how we feel most loved in the world. So we don't want to close that down, we just want to understand what we're dealing with, right? So if it's a narcissist, I'm not going to wear my heart on my sleeve, I'm going to see it for what it is, cast the demon out. If it's a healthy person, then I'm going to have a healthy relationship that's not going to feel like a kind of roller coaster of highs and lows. It may not have the same like dopamine hit, like, because that's not that healthy and it's not that good for your nervous system. We don't want to be in these rushes all the time. Like, that's like taking drugs. We want to be in healthy relationships, sustainable relationships that can feel really good, but not like crashes, ups and down crashes. That's not healthy for our nervous system. Our nervous system wants stability. Our nervous system wants security and safety with people. It is safe to be with safe people. Narcissists are not safe people at all. They're not safe for our nervous system. They've got zero, well, if they have any empathy, it's very limited. They do the strangest things, right? I remember, like, my dad was extremely abusive when I was a kid, and like, but he watched Oliver Twist and then he cried. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like, in terms of, again, it confused my brain because I'm like, well, maybe he has got like empathy. But at the same time, like, I mean, the things he did to me were unbelievable in terms of, just not at all okay. But like, why is he crying to Oliver Twist? It's the weirdest thing. But I think, I still don't understand why that was. I mean, they do the strangest things that we then think, well, maybe they have got an emotion. But generally, what they'll show you is that they care about everything other than you. It's part of the devaluing of someone, and it's part of the game. Like, they know how to do something that kind of shocks you into thinking they're a normal human being. They're not. It's not normal to abuse people. It's not normal to devalue people. It's not normal to intentionally hurt someone. It's not normal to be able to sit with their suffering and want to make it worse. That's not normal at all. It's not normal to not take accountability for your actions and want a healthy discussion about it. A healthy human being, if you have a healthy conversation with someone and you explain how you're feeling about something, they want to know. If I was hurting my friend in any way or whatever, I'd want to know. I'd want to take accountability if I was wrong. I might not be wrong, right? But it's nice to have a connection where you can have the discussion and say, look, this is how I feel, and that's a safe space. There's no room for that with a narcissist. They don't care how you feel. In fact, how you feel just becomes fuel to hurt you with later a lot of the time. 100% an entity. See it for what it is. Whatever dance you've had with a narcissist is not a representation of what you can have with a healthy human being. You can have a very loving, very open-hearted, very beautiful relationship. You just have to know what you're dealing with, right? And if you're dealing with a narcissist, you can't have that at all. If you've seen the crocodile tears, let me know, because that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They turn it on and people believe it. That was one of the that's also one of the strangest things I've ever seen. I think that was crocodile tears when he was watching Oliver's Twist. I know with my ex-partner, when he didn't want to go and see his mother, like, he phoned his sister and, like, I saw him in the car. It was just a complete fake cry. It was, I don't know, but I don't know how we do let this pass. I mean, I didn't really say anything at the time, but I did notice it. Like, it was completely inauthentic. It wasn't coming from a genuine emotion. It wasn't coming from any kind of soul. So they're going to dehumanize you because they are dehumanized, right? You can't make them reattach to their soul. You just have to cast the demon out of your life. That's basically it. So any questions, let me know. Lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.